In this video, I discuss the concept underlying progress monitoring. On EasyCBM, a number of measures are available at every grade level, with some of them available for use in benchmarking and screening students, and others to be used only in progress monitoring. The entire goal of selecting the correct progress monitoring measure is to ensure they are sensitive to instructional changes and growth over time. One of the key features of progress monitoring is the equivalence of forms so that change over time in student performance can be documented and interpretations not threatened by the use of easier or more difficult forms. In EasyCBM, the forms have been developed over the course of nearly a decade and several $1 million of funding from the Institute of Education Sciences, IES. These measures have also been rigorously field tested and scaled using sophisticated psychometric scaling. Finally, they have been grade banded to reflect the same constellation of skills as are provided in the screening and benchmarking forms. Nevertheless, they are designed for use at any grade level or skill that the teacher has focused the curriculum and instruction. In this unit, we focus on critical concepts for effective progress monitoring. And behind the concepts here, presented in this slide, you should appreciate that decision-making using progress monitoring can be based on measures from any grade level, and that we use the bench only at the student's grade level for making decisions about risk. So this is not quite the same because we're talking about progress monitoring, not performance on screening or benchmark measures. Teachers could use these screening or benchmark measures to define the lowest ranked students and then conduct an item analysis to determine if they have the basic skills needed for that grade level, and basically do an error analysis to begin to think about effective instructional programs that target those errors. So after analyzing the benchmark measures, though, teachers want to think about administering progress measures for those who are most at risk. So, for example, the progress measures in EasyCBM have been scaled in association with the screening and benchmark measures at each grade level. But again, off-grade level measures for progress may be used in evaluating instruction. We have many alternate forms in our progress monitoring system, and generally we built enough forms for frequent measurement to show change at a likely rate that is about to occur. And so this change would include changes in level, slope, and variability. And we'll have anywhere from 13 to 17 measures at a grade level, and that would be sufficient certainly for monthly progress monitoring. But realize that these general outcome measures, change is important for within-year growth, and this change should be targeted in the curriculum and in instructional goals. Basically, items can be analyzed from the screening measures, correct and incorrect, consider the curriculum being covered, compare the percentile rank in all the measures used for determining risks, to determine if there's maybe one measure that they're low or one measure that they're not low, and finally select a progress measure with potential for growth. An important misconception is that teachers have to have on-grade measures, and that isn't the case. In fact, off-grade measures may be better when students' skills are very low, and the percentile ranks used to define how low these students are from the grade level measures. You might use off-grade measures for progress, but then you can't use the percentile ranks of those measures. And so teachers should consider the skill set being taught throughout the year, as well as the item analysis, as well as the percentile ranks on the benchmark screening measures. And in either case, the grade level screening and benchmarking measures can still be used for triannual evaluations even though off-grade measures are used for students. A couple of caveats on progress monitoring. There should be consistency in the grade level administered. So if you're an off-grade measure, then keep to that measure throughout the year to make comparisons over time of one value to the next. Administer as often as change is expected. So for example, if comprehension is being monitored, it's very unlikely that weekly measurement would be even sensible because comprehension is not likely to change that much. And finally, consider other behavioral factors why students are performing as they are. Consider the attention they're giving in class or on tests, or their concentration, or any attendance to school or class, and finally any personal issues. In this last slide, we have a number of examples where students from various grade levels have performed. In this grade 1 student, you will see very low performance on word reading fluency, WRF, and passage reading fluency, PRF. They are so low that in fact letter sounds may be the most sensible measure for progress monitoring because they're at least at the 15th PR or percentile rank. In the 3rd grade student, you see that both measures of reading fluency, words and passages, are at a reasonable percentile rank, and both the MCRC, multiple choice reading comprehension, and the CCSS reading are quite low and in fact may not be sensitive to show progress. In grade 5, you'll see that passage reading fluency is quite proficient, 35 percentile rank on the grade level measures, but in fact that might be too high for monitoring in progress, and indeed the CCSS reading might be the chosen measure, not only because of the percentile rank, but also because of the nature of the measures. Clearly, the 15th percentile rank in multiple choice reading comprehension is quite low, and perhaps maybe monthly monitoring in that would be worthwhile also. Finally, in the 7th grade student, we see that CCSS reading is low and may be an appropriate progress monitoring measure. The passage reading fluency percentile rank is very low, and as well as multiple choice reading comprehension. So maybe to complement the percentile rank, 10th percentile rank in CCSS reading, passage reading fluency measures would be administered also. Selecting the appropriate progress monitoring measure to use, administering the measures on a sensible time schedule, and providing sufficient instruction to prompt a change in performance are all key to improving instructional effectiveness within an RTI approach. Consistent use of an appropriate assessment to measure progress, all while providing effective instruction, should provide educators with the information they need to determine whether they should continue a particular intervention or modify it.